Principles of system thinking. Our takeaways from system thinking. System thinking is a whole new way for us to look ourselves, our business, our relationship, and the world around us. It is a paradigm shift from our more traditional ways of thinking that it becomes a guiding philosophy for the way we approach and analyze so many parts of our lives. It involves being aware that the choices we make may have unintended consequences, so they deserve careful and deliberate thought. System thinking, at its core, starts with observing data and events, looking for patterns in behavior that occurs over time, uncovering the structure that are driving forces behind the behavior, studying and changing the structure that are no longer helpful, using our curiosity to be open to the variety of possible solutions to a problem, and ultimately being brave enough to choose the best possible long-term solution rather than an easy fix. Why we are using system thinking? We are using system thinking because we know knowledge is power. When we know better, we do better. System thinking expands our thinking and opens us up to many possible solutions as we look at problems in new ways. We can make more informed choices knowing that there is no such thing as perfect solution, and every choices we make will impact our part of the system because it is all interconnected. System thinking allows us to be aware of the impact of our choices and to do everything in our power to limit any negative consequences that may arise from them. System thinking is very effective in helping to solve a variety of complex problems. If the concern is important, the problem has occurred repeatedly and has a history that can be studied and analyzed, and people have tried to solve the problem in the past with little or no success, it is a prime candidate for a system thinking approach. How do you use system thinking? Begin by asking new questions. People are naturally inclined to want to assign blame for a problem. It is a quick and easy fix, and it makes us feel better. It has been said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. While there is some debate over the origin of the quote, it offers us important insight into system thinking. We need to break free from the blame game and instead be willing to ask the tougher question like, what is it that we are missing? Or, what don't we understand about the problem? When you begin your system thinking analysis, it is entirely possible that the data and information before you will just be the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more that you can discover beneath the surface by examining not just events that occurs, but also patterns or behavior and the structure in place responsible for driving those behavior patterns over time. Be sure to speak with everyone in the system so that all of their viewpoints are represented. In the beginning, everyone will see the problem through the different lens. It is only by being willing to listen to all perspectives that you can truly get to the heart of the problem. Once you have gathered all the information you need, then you ultimately need to update everyone about your findings so that it is possible that all of the people around you or all the actors are on the same page moving forward. When you begin laying out a visible representation of the problem so that you can look at it in a new way, start with causal loop diagram. Start out small and keep things simple. You can always add more elements to the loop as you need them. Keep the story broken into small digestible parts for as long as possible without trying to overcomplicate the loops with too many details, especially if the details are about things totally beyond your control or inconsequentially to the problem before you. It is hoped that causal loops will reveal connections between parts of the system that may gone previously unnoticed. Try not to get hung up on whether the loop you are creating is right or wrong. If it is accurately shows the group's current perception of reality, then it is doing what it is designed to do. There are many lessons to be learned from system thinking. Incorporating even a few of these lessons into our daily life might impact our life pleasantly. Often we think systems are failing just because they aren't performing the ways we think they should. In fact, the system might be performing exactly as it should. We need to look at what the system is doing well and see how it was designed for that. Then, if we want the system to behave differently, we can simply change the design to help it meet its new purpose. In our lives, if we interview for a job and don't get it, we think we have failed. Instead, we could look at the interview we had as a means of improving ourselves and our skills, so that we will be better prepared in the future when the right job for us comes along. When we try to solve problems, we often make a mistake of assuming that they occur in isolation. In reality, problems are usually just an interconnected systems. For example, if the vegetables in the garden won't grow to their full potential, we may assume that it is because they did not receive enough water. That may very well be just one reason, and we may find that the real cause could be any of the number of the combination of possibilities, such as quality of soils, not receiving the proper amount of sunlight, quality of seeds, the length of growing season, average temperature, insects, and many others. Being open to a variety of possible solutions can help us perceive when we are faced with the most daunting or frustrating problems. Feedback from systems can provide us with invaluable learning opportunities. We should always seek to gain knowledge from every life experience. It will serve to improve our analytical skills and sense of awareness, making us better equipped to make evaluations and judgment of the systems we encounter. It is important to keep in mind that there are always delays once we apply feedback to the system. We can't expect the result to happen instantly. In fact, if we don't take into account that there will be a delay, we may make mistake of incorrectly thinking that there is an additional intervention when once we have implemented, just need time for them to take hold and produce results. We should avoid getting discouraged and giving up in favor of letting things play out. After all, the best things come to those who wait. When we are to solve complex problems without system thinking approach, it may make a difficult situation even worse. When we rush to find cause of a problem without looking carefully at the system's behavior patterns and interconnected parts, we may find ourselves only addressing the symptoms instead of getting to the root of the problem. This can lead to missing some of the unintended consequences that may arise from the decision we make or we made. System thinking approach can help us to minimize those negative unintended consequences to avoid them altogether. We have all heard our parents at one point of time telling us that we rather learn from their mistake rather than repeating them. Systems are similar in that often the problems and behavior patterns we witness today have already been present in multiple systems throughout time. By looking at the similar patterns of feedback cycles and delays that have been seen over and over again, which is called systems archetypes, we are able to more quickly spot dominant behavior patterns in our own current systems. Being aware of how current events in our lives compare to those we have already faced in our past gives us strength and knowledge as we deal with them, because we realize we already have some experience to back up us. The most effective place to act in a system in order to achieve the best result often couldn't be further away from where we expect it to be. The key to dealing with a system thinking in both our personal and professional lives is to keep an open mind. If we are truly open to all possibilities, the best solution is bound to find its way in. As a conclusion, system thinking is a major paradigm shift from more traditional ways of thinking that we are so familiar with and may have grown too comfortable and complacent and exclusively relying upon throughout our lives. There are so many important lessons we have learned that it will serve us well to review a few of the highlights as we began our journey into implementing system thinking in our lives. In a system, everything is interconnected. It is about how the relationship and connections between the parts impact the system as a whole. Changing one part of the system will impact the entire system. Every action and decision will have unintended consequences, so taking the time to analyze a system carefully instead of rushing to find a quick easy fix is key. If you want to change a system, it is more efficient and impactful to change the mutual connection between two or more things and purpose or function than it is to change the elements. Changing the rule and relationship can often create a whole new system. Looking at problems deeply and from the multitude of perspectives with an open mind will increase the likelihood of finding a lasting positive solution. Taking the time to look at an event and examining the behavioral pattern of a system in the quest for deeper understanding by asking new questions is important if we are interested in finding the best possible solution to the complex problem we face today. To a system thinker, there is no final definitive answer because an answer is often the beginning of a new question. System thinking is a whole new way for us to look at ourselves, our business, our relationship, and the world around us. It involves being aware that the choices we made may have unintended consequences, so they deserve careful and deliberate thought. Knowledge is power. When we know better, we do better. Systems thinking expands our cognitions and opens us up to many possible solutions as we look at problems in new ways. We can make more informed choices knowing that there is no such thing as a perfect solution. And every choices we make will impact other parts of the system because it is interconnected. System thinking is not what human nature is automatically inclined to do. It will not come easily to us or happen immediately, but with time and practice, we can become system thinkers. It is not easy, but it is worth it.